How you doing, guys? I'm Sean. Welcome to Rambles with my camera. Guys, today's video, I'm going to be talking, this is a video response to Eric Kim. Now, Eric Kim's a photographer and photo educator as well, workshop coordinator, and he's based in America. And I watched his blog last night, and basically it winded me a wee bit. It was like a wee, I was surprised. He was talking about shooting his camera in program mode. And when I read that he actually shot his digital camera in program mode, it was sort of surprised. It sort of knocked the wind out of me a wee bit. And I don't know why that did, because I was expecting maybe because he shoots manual cameras as well. And he talks about, all the different great photographers and, the importance of photography. I was sort of surprised to see that he said he only shoots his digital cameras in the program mode. And it sort of knocked me back a wee bit. So this video here is about. Now, I just want to start off by saying something here. I've got a lot of respect for Eric Kim, because whenever I went back after a 12-year break away from photography, up to about a year and a half ago, when I started saying, I'm going to get back into photography again, I started looking at photographers and, who was on the scene now, what has changed now. And of course I came across Eric Kim's website. And when I was reading down his articles, it was fantastic. It was like a breath of fresh air. He was very clued up. And then I started watching his YouTube videos, and I checked out his first videos when he was talking about leaving his job and things like that. And he just has a lovely energy. He just really radiates happiness when it comes across, and his writing style and the way he comes across on camera. And I just thought there was something special about him. And then I was watching, how he transcribed from leaving his job right up until his current doing the workshops, and a lot of respect for the guy. So I'm coming at this here from somebody who's a lot of respect for Eric Kim, for what he's doing in the photography community. But when I read that article last night, I was surprised, because I can't understand why somebody who knows manual would want to shoot in a program mode, and more importantly would actually be advocating and telling people, that yeah, go ahead and just do it without. I know he did touch in the article, he said something along the lines of he believes that people should have a basic understanding of the aperture, shutter speed and the ISO range. But I think he could have done more in that, because I think it's more than just having a basic understanding. I personally believe that the photographer, if they have the facility to a manual camera, a camera that has a manual setting on it, must know how to use manual setting. Now when I say must, I said it in another video there, and must could probably be a wee bit too hard of a word, because then the only thing it must do in life is die. That's as simple as that. But I really do believe that it's something that you should consider doing, because if you haven't already known about the manual settings in a camera, because it's a basis of photography. Now it doesn't matter how good the program mode is. If you know how to set a camera manually, you're quite aware then of the shutter speed and apertures and ISO, and how one affects the other, and how then when you're controlling the light and you're taking a photograph, depending on the situation you're in, that you're able to tell the camera no, and the camera's going, no, hold on, you're overexposing. You go, no, I'm not. I'm telling you what to do. You're taking control of that. Or if you want to control the motion blur, the shutter speed via the shutter speed, you have to take in consideration then the size of your lens you're using. Is it going to create camera shake, or what way you're going to make the best of that photograph in that situation? But when you're relying on to like a camera for program, I don't like the thought of that. Now it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just I haven't done it. I'm going to get to something very short about testing it this morning. But basically because I grew up shooting in manual, to me it was second nature. Eric talks about it being technical. When he shoots on his film cameras and things like that, it's not an issue about shooting manual, but when he goes to the digital, he prefers to be less technical. I think he says, the less I need to think about my camera settings, the more I can think about composition, framing, and making a personally meaningful image. Well, I do that as well, but I don't worry about the technical size. It's like riding a bicycle, or it's like driving a car. That once you know how to drive a car or ride a bicycle, it's no longer technical. It might have been when you were starting to learn that. Then you want as much knowledge as possible that is going to benefit you. And don't be dismissing it or making it flippant as if it's not really relevant now because there's a program mode setting on it. It's very relevant, because you want to have control over it when the circumstances arrive. Now, okay, the program mode, at least you can initially set off, you can set your ISO to whatever range you want. But also depending on the camera, depending on the model of the camera, you can also then change in the program mode. You could also then change the shutter speed and also the aperture, and one will cut. If you change the shutter speed, say for toxic you're doing street photography, you want to have a shutter speed around about a 250, whatever you're deciding to put it onto. You can turn that in and it'll automatically change the aperture corresponding, and if you want to change the aperture, you can change that as well. So you have got more clout in it than you would have in fully automatic, but in the same breath, in order for you to realise that you're wanting to change the shutter speed or the aperture, you must first have the knowledge of manual, how to shoot a camera in manual. And I think that there are a lot of people just automatically getting a camera, getting into photography, setting it to program, and not taking it any further. And I would say, tell you, you're losing out on so much. Now, if you learn manual, it's become second nature. When I walk the streets, it's nothing for me. Just like see a cloud coming over, knowing that it's changed, the lighting has changed, I'll change the setting in the camera before I even come across a photograph. And I don't think about it, it's natural. It's so natural to do. It's up to the person, it's up to their circumstances. Now, I want to make something quite clear here. To me, I don't care what camera you're using. I don't care if you have it on fully auto, you have it on program, you have it on aperture priority, you have it on manual, or what camera you're using, or what way you choose to use it, you're shooting a flash. I don't care. I really don't care. The photograph matters. That's what makes it for me. I look at a photograph. I eventually like to find out what they're using because I'm interested in it, because it'd be interesting to see what sort of camera, because you'd be surprised if you hear such and such a camera or such and such a kit lens created a photograph like that. I like to think it gives it that there up till the photographers who try to tell you need such and such a lens, you need such and such a camera to capture great photographs. But whenever you see these photographs and you get the specs of them, you realise it's a basic camera that has captured a work of art or some greatness. So to me, the camera is really just secondary, the photograph is first. So I agree with Eric on that, and I agree with a lot of things that he's saying. I have a lot of respect for the lad, because he's got a lot of information out there that he's putting. He's getting people to think. He certainly made me think. I'm going up to Belfast next week for 4 days to take some photographs. I might shoot program on. I went out to the garden today and I took some photographs from program. I haven't shot. I've got the camera from October. That's my first DSLR in years, and I was actually tested it out. The first time I put it onto the program and test, and I'm very pleased with the results. Very pleased with the results. So I can see the benefit of it. But I still go back till I think you have to learn how to shoot a camera in manual to be prepared in case something happens that you're actually wanting to take more control over the image, or as they say, if you wanted to override the program mode by changing the shutter speed, changing the aperture, you have to have the foundation of knowing what you're actually doing and why you want to do it, and why one will affect the other, and why the ISO affects the shutter speed, and shutter speed will affect the aperture, and they all work in this, and that's what I want you to do, is just really just think about it, but not just stick something on the camera on program because it's modern technology, and yes, it makes things easier. Sometimes easier is not the best, but at least have the foundations of it. So there you go. I'm going to put links down below to Eric's website and his Facebook page. Check him out. I really have a lot of respect for him. I think he's a good lad, and I think that he's doing a lot for photography and getting people to think outside the box. It's almost like the Zen photographer type thing. He's a bit like Wayne Dyer with a camera. And so there you go. Let me know your thoughts. What's your views on shooting a program? What's your views on shooting a manual? I know I come across a bit passionate about saying to somebody, you must shoot in manual. I don't say it as a camera snob. I don't try to, talk down to somebody and think because I shoot it manual that my way is the best way. It's just the best way for me, and I am open for change, and I'm going to be trying that program just to see. But I'm fortunate enough that I've got a good foundation of manual. I'm more concerned about people who haven't and they're just relying on the settings of the camera. I genuinely believe you should research manual settings in your camera, get to know them, and should you never use them again in your life, that's okay, but the knowledge will be in there, and I think it will definitely work wonders for you. So there you go, guys. Listen, thanks very much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe. You can check me out on Twitter and on Facebook, and also rambleswithmycamera.com, and my Flickr page, be all down below. And remember, look, photography is fun. Let's not make it too technical. And it doesn't matter what way you're shooting your camera, as long as you're enjoying, as long as you're capturing images that pleases you. And if you're having to please other people, then that's a bonus. But as long as it's pleasing you, that's all that matters. And take your photographs whatever way you want, but be open till change, and be open till take on new information, and maybe who knows, it may resonate with you. Guys, send you love from Ireland, and thanks again for watching.